Hello and welcome back to another episode of Gaslands TV. This time we're going to be doing some gates, and these are 3D printed gates which you can get off my Etsy page. The link is in the description of the video, so if you want to go check that out, there's other stuff there too. But these come with also the Gaslands TV logo, so if you want to paint them Gasland TV colors like I'm going to do with the gate number 1 here, it's going to be blue and then some purple and some aqua blue. So I'm going to do like a 3-colored gate here. So I'm going to start with some blue, dark blue here at the bottom. Pretty straightforward. And then as I go up, I'm going to put less and less paint so that when I put this purple here, it's going to fade into the dark blue. I'm going to start here, and then when I have a little bit of paint left on the brush, I'll come down and try to fade it into the dark blue. I wish I had an airbrush. I'm getting one soon, so I'll teach you guys how to use an airbrush while I learn how to use an airbrush. Tons of mistakes I'm going to do, and you'll be able to enjoy watching me do those mistakes. Now with the aqua blue over here, I'm going to put some in the middle, and then again, there's very little left on the brush. I'm going to try to go over the purple here. And again, I'm cutting these up really fast. This video is going to be it's not going to be a short video, it's still very long, but I'm doing 4 gates in this video, so I don't want you to see everything that I'm doing because it's just way too long. But I'm going to go as fast as I can. What's good about these gates is that the signs and stuff could come out, so you could paint behind them if you want, and you could change them according to however you want to use the gates during your game. I'm gonna do the bottom here just in case you have someone lifting the gate and wants to see underneath for some reason. Now the gates also come with this little strip at the bottom here. This is what the cars are going to drive over to mark when they actually reach the gate. So I'm going to do this one kind of the same colors as the gate, the 3 colors. So I'm going to base it with the aqua blue, make sure it's all covered up. This is my second coat, by the way. It took maybe 3 coats to get a nice blue on it. And while that's drying, I'm gonna use some metallic red here on the barrels that also come with the gate. Those are stuck on there. And the blue that accidentally went on the barrels is not that bad because it kind of makes them dirty a bit. So it's okay to have dirty stuff in Gaslands. And I'm gonna come back to my strip here, and I'm gonna put some of the purple, and I'm going to bring it all the way into the middle while leaving some of the blue showing, like so. And then with a darker blue, I'm going to do just the edge and then go in the middle of the purple. So that's going to give it a 3-color fade. It's not bad. Could be better. Now it's time to make this thing look metallic. So with some shiny silver here, very little on the brush. I'm just gonna pass over everything, dry brushing basically on the edges and stuff. I put some on the barrels too. Just gives it a shine depending on how the light hits it. I always want to put a bit of silver like this to give it a metallic look. You could damage it up as much as you want with you just using silver. Even the barrels look pretty good when they're chipped off the red paint with silver here. And once you've done the whole gate, you could do some rust, some orange, or you could use some war paints. There's even effects like orange rust effects you could buy, but I'm just gonna put a bit of orange here, and it should do the trick. just dab a few like different areas. Makes it a bit more realistic. Some weathering. And with the model Air from Vallejo, there's this brown rust color. And I'm just gonna put a bit of that as well on the barrels. Just randomly put it wherever you feel would look good. You could put as much as you want or as little as you want, depending on how old these barrels are. You know, maybe you could make them brand new if you want. You know, super important when you're painting is to eat. Don't forget to take a break. You know, maybe when stuff is drying or whatever, gives you the energy to come back and work better. Maybe a little bit of chocolate, get the brains going, and come back with some sponge or a part of a sponge, and you could sponge up some dirt or rust on the barrels. Sponge is good when you're not really good at randomizing stuff, so if you want to use a sponge, it also helps. And now for this thing here, I'm gonna put some silver on it again, you know, because now it looks kind of flat, looks fake, but just by passing some silver up and down the same direction that tires would go, up and down on this thing. Do the same with the brush and some silver, and it's gonna give it a damaged metal look. A little bit of some realism there. And I'm gonna use the red tone wash, which is kind of like an ink, like a watery paint. I'm gonna put that on the barrels just to give it a bit of a watery shine to them, metallic shine, and also it's gonna dirty them up even more. Now I'm gonna use some brushed metal, which is a darker silver, shiny black kind of thing. And I'm gonna pass here on the gates where basically tires would go. Like take a brush that's about the size of the tire and go up and down. And I'm gonna put some here to dirty up the gates a little bit. It's gonna make it dirty, and it's also gonna make it look like it's been damaged, weathered by whatever machine guns and stuff. And if you put a lot on the brush, then you could just clean off your brush against the edge here, and it's gonna give a nice weathered damage look, and it's super easy to do. And because I had a lot of paint left over, didn't want to waste it, I'm just gonna do it on my second gate here. This gate I primed brown, and I'm just gonna make it shiny, make it just a regular brown old damaged gate. And with some lava orange and a sponge, I'm gonna sponge some rust on it. This is the fastest way you could do a gate, by the way. Like, you can't get any faster than this. Prime it brown, dry brush some silver on it, and sponge some orange, and you have yourself an old rusted gate. 3 colors, super easy. And if you want to do all your gates like this, you could. If you're someone that has, I don't know, 5 kids and no time, that could help. I'm gonna wash it too, if you want. Just give it a wash. It's gonna dirty it up and shine it up a little bit. And that's my simple, easy gate. Done. Now for this one, I primed it white, and I'm planning on doing like a black and yellow construction looking thing. So with tape is I did like a go around the gate with the tape like a candy cane or like a barbershop sign. Just go around, make sure that the spacing's kind of even around the gates there. I'm gonna do the top here. And what's good about this kind of paint, this kind of tape, is that it's very easy to undo. So the gap there was too big, so I'm gonna undo it and try again. I want the gaps to look pretty good. And then I prime it black. Once it's primed black, could take off the tape. Basically, whatever is white is going to be painted yellow. I mean, if you want to do a black and white gate, it's pretty cool too, you know. Depends on the look of your racetrack or your table, however you want to do it. And I'm gonna just put some yellow on the white here. I find this yellow is too bright. It's not like, it doesn't feel like a real construction yellow. So I put just one drop of orange in the yellow, and it's gonna give you a nicer orange when you're looking for that kind of construction color. And then over the white, you'll put some yellow. And you have to do it on white because painting yellow on anything else but white is really, really hard and takes a lot of coats. On white, it's easier, maybe 2 coats. And just make sure you go in there and do all the little areas and have a little snack, because you don't want to faint while you're painting. You know what I mean? It's not smart. And get some coffee in your system, that always helps, or some tea. Now you could come back to painting in a good mood. And I'm just gonna make some lines here in black. And basically you're gonna use the black to fix all the mistakes that were done with the yellow. And just clean up all the yellow all around. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do maybe something here with this one. I'm gonna do the inside of these arrows yellow. So I'm gonna put some yellow in here. Yeah, that looks like a really bad job, doesn't it? But I'm planning on cleaning it up with some black. So while that's drying, I'm gonna show you another little tip. If you want, with a Q-tip, you can make little torches, like those little Hawaiian torches and stuff. Maybe you wanna have like a torch sticking out of your gate. And all you gotta do is cut a Q-tip in half and pull a bit of the Q-tip here, so it looks like flames or smoke, and then just paint it to look like fire. And paint the stick like a wood color, and you got yourself a little torch. Now back to this. It was dry, so I decided to clean it up with some black, and it looks pretty good. It's still very clean. I'm gonna dirty this up a little bit with some brushed metal here. I mean, cars drive over this thing all the time, constantly, right? They might even explode on top of one of these things, so make sure to get that dirty. And while that's drying, I'm gonna do the other one here. I'm gonna do it orange. This one is for the easy gate that I did, the brown and rusted gate. I'm gonna make this orange so that it matches a little bit. And now with some silver, I'm gonna make it look like metal, damaged metal. Again, very little paint on the brush, and just pass it over in the same direction that the tires would move on this thing, and gives it some damaged look. You could do the same thing with the brushed metal. Dirty that up on both sides, and it's gonna look something like this. And that's the easy gate. And now for my other gate, I'm planning on doing maybe an army pattern. That could be cool on this thing. So I got a bunch of different greens here. And I'm planning on sponging. So to sponge, it's always good to put gloves. These beautiful gloves that are about $50 each right now. And when I'm sponging, I like to make a line of the paint, and then with the sponge just go from one end to another. It's harder to grab paint in a sponge on something else than something flat. And then just as you're painting, use up the line of paint that you have there on your sponge. Let's go around this thing and just dab some green wherever you think Once that's done, it's probably a good idea to put gloves on both hands. Live and learn. What happened to my brush here? What? I was trying to paint and just this stuff came off. Weird. Anyways, moving on. I'm gonna use this green here again. Gonna do a line, and then with the sponge here, and grab it and put some of this green random areas of the gate. Now you could get creative with this. You could do the same thing with different colors. If you don't want the army pattern, you could do it in a different pattern. You can make them bigger. You could just use a brush instead of a sponge. And yeah, once I did the greens, I'm gonna do some brown. It's a different brown than the one I primed with, so it's still gonna look like there's 4 colors, maybe even 5. And then with a brush, if you want, you could clean up some spots that aren't to your liking or don't look very army pattern. So I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? These are wastelanders painting these things. Pretty sure they don't make things perfect. You could sponge some green on the barrels here too. Maybe you want to make some barrels look like their army pattern. All the different greens. Put too much there, so I'm gonna try to wash it off with some water and sponge a bit more here. That looks like it's coming along pretty good. You know, and if there's some areas where you think there's a green or a brown that's missing, just go back over it and add to it, clean it up with a brush if you have time. That looks pretty good. Now again, don't forget to use the silver and just dry brush on whatever you want it to look metallic or damaged metallic. There we go. Did all around the gate here, and I'm going to use a dark tone wash on the barrels to dirty them up also. They were too clean. It also fills up the gaps and gives a nice shadow. And now I'm gonna do an army pattern on this thing here. I still have some leftover paint, so use whatever's there. I mean, you could do this with a brush also. You don't have to use a sponge. And it's gonna give you the same effect. Now cars are gonna drive over this, right? So again, silver, brushed metals. And so far, guys, everything you've seen on my channel, like everything I've done, is probably with like 10 different paint colors. You don't really need 100 types of colors if you don't have a high budget or whatever. So here, brushed metal, I don't want to put too much, so I'm gonna wipe some off and go up and down here. Very lightly, very little. Make it look like some tire marks. And the bottom is done. Needs some rust. What's cool about this is that the orange on army pattern is actually something you see maybe sometimes on even hunters. So it's going to give a rust look, but it's also going to give a hunter look. Hunter army pattern kind of thing. Put some on the barrel here. a little bit of rust. And see what I mean by the orange there? It's giving you like a duck hunt kind of look, but it's actually just rust. So it works for two things. Adding some orange on this. Put a bit of orange everywhere. And that's not an effect, that's just orange color. You don't need to buy the effects if you don't want to spend more money on the effects. You could just buy orange paint. Now it's time to do this neon sign here. So this is my first time painting neon. And what I did was I bought some neon colors and I made a first coat, and then I'm going to do a second coat, but only along the letters here. So wherever there should be even more brightness. Then I painted all the other gates, basically colors that match. So for this sign here, it's going to be the army one. Decided to make gate 1 the army one. So with a brush, I'm just going to make an army pattern here. Completely random. And for gate 2, which was the black and yellow, I'm going to do that orange I like with the yellow and orange colors, and then just paint the gate 2 here. Then for the start, I did it blue with a purple. And then once this is dry, I come back to it, and I'm going to put some purple along the sides here. I made the purple go in a little bit, if you can see that, but I left around the neon signs, I left it open. So while that's drying, I'm going to try to test some of these metallic Sharpies, see what I could do with these. The brown didn't show that much. I know silver shows a lot, so you could test it in the back there. That looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is outline the letters here in silver, just so they're easier to see. I mean, the actual word was camouflaged, so the silver helps it, stand out a little bit. It's pretty cool. So those are coming along, and now time to put some silver on it again. Damage them up, make them look more metallic, makes it look more real. And when there's not a lot left on the brush, just pass the brush in the back here on this gate. It might look like you're not putting anything there, but depending on how the light's going to hit it, it's going to give it a little shine, a little chipped paint. I'm going to do the same here with this start word, and little tip is if you start from the top here and just bring it down, it's going to look pretty good. Same way water would hit when it's raining. Try to just imagine where it would go, and just put a bit of silver there and bring it down. And again, dry brush the gate in the back. It also works on black, in case you were wondering. So see, I'm just gonna damage the edges here and the gate, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna put more in the corners. Damage it up as much as you want. I have a hard time stopping, and I always put too much. I guess my stuff is really weathered. You could do it less weathered. It works on orange too, pretty well. Looks like some damaged metal there. And These look pretty good. It's not over yet, because then comes the brushed metal. But these look pretty good. And this is the brushed metal I'm doing here. Again, from the top, I'm just going down. And then turn the sign upside down and do the same thing. Looks like a horror movie title or something. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to do the same now with the orange. Put some on top over here. It doesn't really work on black, but on orange it works. The finish line here. Some in the back just in case that, because I'm pretty sure the back of these signs show as well, so just gonna put them here and dirty it up. I'm basically just cleaning my brush on the edge of this thing, and it gives that look. Put a bit on this one. I didn't want to put too much on the army one because I kind of like the pattern. But there I go again, putting too much. And I'm gonna put some on the blue here. Just bring it down a little bit from the top and very little on the brush here. I mean, these are gates, right? Like, they're expensive when you buy them, not when you make them, but when you actually buy these, they're expensive. So you want to work on them hard, and that's why it's been a while since I've put a video. I've been working on these gates for a while. So, and now back to these neon signs here. I'm gonna go back with the bright pink and just put it on top of the purple that's inside. It's almost even watered down a little bit so that I could put a lot. I just wanted the purple that was inside to be more pink. And now it's some white and a little bit of pink here. Very, very little. Because you want this to be white with a bit of pink in it. Super subtle, like people won't even notice. You're probably going to be the only one noticing that this was actually white with a bit of pink in it. And now all you got to do is go on top of the letters, and it's going to give you a kind of a neon look. It actually looks brighter with the lights closed, funny enough, but those look pretty cool. I mean, it's hard to make something light up when it's not lit up. See how it looks on the actual gate. It's pretty cool. Let's put some of these back on. And those are the 4 gates that I made for my Gaslands table. Hope you guys learned something from watching this, and I hope you subscribe and share. Hopefully you like the video, and if you want some of these gates, you could go buy them on our Etsy page. We also have dice if you're looking for dice. We got the Gaslands TV templates, which are purple and blue, and some bits and pieces if you want to modify your car. We got some guns, engines. I could send you a container like this full of bits and stuff inside. It's not that expensive, and it makes the job a lot easier. And you could join us on Gaslands TV Facebook for our contests, which are random, so anybody could win. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and I'll see you next time.